Hey there, welcome to Fluency Goals. I am Mandeep. Today I have a very special video lesson for you. Unlike all my other previous video lessons where I have taught you some words, some idioms, some expressions, now this one is a combination video lesson, a combination of advanced words, advanced vocabulary, and the corresponding idioms. Now, how is this special? You will not only learn the advanced words here, some words that you can use in your everyday English conversations, but also the advanced expressions, idioms to replace those words. Now, how is this going to benefit you? You can absolutely tailor the requirement of the usage of vocabulary or expressions as per your audience. So you'll not just learn the word, its meaning, its usage, but also how you can replace it with an idiom in everyday conversation. So are you excited to begin this lesson with me? I am. So let's begin. The first word that I have here is prolific. Prolific. Now consider prolific as a replacement for calling someone productive, creative. So when somebody is highly productive or creative and produces a large amount of work, let's say we are talking about a sports person. So if that sports person is really productive in his sports and does play a lot of sports, then we can call him a prolific sportsman. A writer who produces a lot of writing, some novels, comics, books maybe, we'll call that writer prolific writer. So you can use this word prolific as in prolific writer, prolific actor, prolific sportsperson, prolific composer, prolific artist. So I hope you get the usage. Now let's frame some sentences. She is a prolific writer with over 20 published novels. Let's learn some corresponding expressions to call somebody very creative and productive. Churn out, churn out. Use it in a sense when you want to say that somebody is very productive in his work and produces a lot of work, creates a lot of work. That means that person is churning out a lot of work. She churns out articles like a machine. Some YouTubers churn out videos like a machine. Alright, we can also use an expression on a roll when somebody is in that flow of producing, doing a lot of good work and is in that flow of creativity. You can say that person is on a roll. He is really on a roll with those marketing campaigns lately. Do frame some sentences of your own and put them in the comment box. I'll read them and I'll definitely give you a feedback on those. Alright, moving on to the next word here. It's exasperating. Exasperating. We use the words like annoying, frustrating in our conversations so often. Rather, we overuse them, don't we? So one advanced word that can replace these overused words is exasperating. So when something is really annoying, irritating, and it provokes you, you can say that it is exasperating. His constant interruptions in the lesson were exasperating. It's exasperating to deal with poor internet speed every day. Alright, let's learn the alternate expressions. Drive someone up the wall. Drive someone up the wall. When you drive someone up the wall, that means you are really annoying that person. Or when something drives you up the wall, that thing is really annoying you, irritating you, provoking you, exasperating you. The endless construction noise in the neighborhood is driving me up the wall. Now another expression that can be used here is try someone's patience. So if somebody is trying your patience, they are really trying you, testing your patience on annoyance, aren't they? So to irritate someone to the limit of their tolerance is testing their patience. The children's constant bickering really tried the teacher's patience. Now bickering here, complaining. So the children's constant bickering really tested their teacher's patience. That means it annoyed her a lot. Alternatively, in a casual setting, you can also use the expression getting on my nerves. When you get on someone's nerve or somebody gets on your nerves, that means they are really irritating you. The humming sound from the fridge is getting on my nerves. Alright, moving on to the next word, erudite. Erudite. Now, I really like this word, really like using it in academic conversations a lot. When you want to call someone highly knowledgeable, scholarly, or perhaps well read, you would like to call that person an erudite. So instead of just calling someone highly educated, learned, you can call them an erudite. Let's use this word in sentence. I like conversing with erudite and well-informed people. He's an erudite speaker admired for his in-depth knowledge. Okay, what are the corresponding expressions that you can use here instead of calling somebody erudite? You can call someone a walking encyclopedia if a person is a storehouse of knowledge and has got a lot of experience and knowledge on a subject. She is a walking encyclopedia when it comes to world history. So remember, always use this walking encyclopedia along with the subject where the person possesses the in-depth knowledge. So naturally, a person cannot have in-depth knowledge on everything. It is only in a particular field or a subject that the person can have the wealth of knowledge, isn't it? Similarly, you can also call somebody a mine of information. Well, when somebody possesses a lot of information and useful knowledge over a piece, over a subject, that person becomes a mine of information. The librarian is a mine of information on rare manuscripts. Moving on to the next one, hefty. Hefty. You can replace the overused words a lot, big, or massive using the word hefty. Like I made a big expenditure, instead of saying a big expenditure, you can say hefty expenditure. Or I spent a lot of amount in setting up my studio. I would rather say I spent a hefty amount in setting up my studio. Let's form some more sentences. He was fined a hefty sum for breaking the contract. She lifted a hefty bag of groceries. Okay, what are the alternate expressions here? Cost an arm and a leg. When somebody costs you a lot of amount, a big hefty amount, you can say that thing cost you an arm and a leg. iPhones these days cost an arm and a leg. The repair work cost him an arm and a leg. Okay, if you are talking about big or huge responsibilities, massive responsibilities, you can also say that it's a heavy load to bear. Managing the crisis was a heavy load to bear for the manager. Moving on to the next word, begrudgingly. Begrudgingly. Now, I really like to replace this word for doing something unwillingly or with a lot of reluctance. So you often use the overused word hesitation. I have got a lot of hesitation or reluctance, or something the person is doing unwillingly. So whenever you want to say that a person is doing something unwillingly with a lot of reluctance or a lot of hesitation, you can say that they are doing it begrudgingly. He agreed to her suggestion begrudgingly. She begrudgingly gave her approval for the plan. Let's look at the corresponding idioms. With a heavy heart. When you do something with a heavy heart, you are doing it unwillingly and you do not really have your will or your say in that thing. She agreed to cancel the vacation with a heavy heart. Now, another one, a very interesting expression that you can use here is to drag one's feet or heels. So remember, if you do not want to go somewhere, you do not want to move or walk you have to drag your feet, you have to drag your heels to go there. Take it in this way: when you do not want to do something willingly and you are quite reluctant to do it, you are dragging your feet or your heels. Let's use it in sentences. He is dragging his heels on signing the agreement. That means he is putting it off, he is unwilling to do it, but he has to sign the agreement. So these were the 5 advanced words and the corresponding idioms to these words that you can use to tailor as per your audience, as per their level of English language understanding. I hope that you liked this lesson. If you have liked it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, and do share it with your friends. I'll see you next time with another lesson. Till then, happy learning.